What is going on? My name's PokeBron, welcome back to the channel and yet another video. Today we're going to be ranking every single Generation 1 Pokemon. Now, it's easy to just rank things based off of what you like and what you don't. However, I'm going to be basing this off of how good they are in a hardcore Nuzlocke. That is the game style that means you play with limited Pokemon, no overleveling, or item usage in battle. Simple as that. Now, I could do all 9 generations in one video. That would be like 4 hours long, and I don't have that kind of patience or the voice to be able to do that. My throat will be gone after like an hour and a half. So, let's hook in, shall we? Alright. So, as I said, we're going to be ranking these off of hardcore Nuzlocke viability. So, as I said, that means we're playing in the game style that has level caps, no items in battle, and set mode at all times. I'm going to be basing this off of like just their performance in Gen 1 games, not like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, where you get it like before Red, or XY. This is going to be based off of their Kanto ability. Bulbasaur is A tier. It's a great starter. What can I say? Its early access to Vine Whip at I think level 12 is really good. 13, sorry, 13. Bulbasaur getting Vine Whip at 13, which is still below the red, blue, yellow cap. Or the red and blue cap, means that you have a free route through him. Really good mon. Ivysaur though is B tier. I'm putting it lower than Bulbasaur because it's stuck with Vine Whip almost all the way through its evolution. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, it's stuck with Vine Whip until level 30. The only move it learns in between 13 and 30 is Poison Powder, which is just kind of poo. Venusaur is A tier though. Big beefy bulky grass type. There's not many bulky grass types in Gen 1 especially. Exeggcute is the other bulky grass. Like Victory Bell and Vileplume are both good, but they're just nowhere near Venusaur. Charmander is C tier. I love Charmander. It's a great starter Pokemon, don't get me wrong. It's a great Pokemon in general. It's just not good as a Charmander in Kanto. The first 2 gyms being Rock and Water, just ooh. It's not pretty reading for Charmander. Charmeleon, I think it actually gets a better fire move until Flamethrower, right? Yeah, it's stuck with oh my god, it's stuck with Ember till level 42. That's horrible. Yeah, no, that's definitely worse than Ivysaur's situation. Because with Ivysaur, you also get Mega Drain after Erica, which makes it a little bit better. Charizard is B tier though, because, I mean, you do get Flamethrower eventually, and when you've got Charizard, you haven't had it for that long at that point. Squirtle, I feel like it's slightly worse than Bulbasaur. I'm going to put it in B for now. I might shuffle some things around, unlike last time. I feel like it does the job pretty well as a water. It gets Water Gun, I think, at 13, like Bulbasaur gets Vine Whip. Oh, 15, but you have Bubble at level 8. It's also the OG speedrunning Pokemon, so there is that behind it too. Wartortle gets Bubble Beam really early, actually. So I think it goes above Ivysaur. It doesn't go up a tier, but it's definitely better than Ivysaur by a decent distance. The use of Bubble Beam after level 20 at Misty makes it really, at least decent. Obviously, you get that before the Electric Gym, which is not great. And then the next gym after that is Grass. But in the meantime, Bubble Beam is good stab. Blastoise is a fickle one. I feel like it's worse than Venusaur, but better than Charizard. I think it's high B tier. It's definitely usable. It's a bulky water. The only issue is that that's a bulky water. That's a bulky-ish water. That's a kind of bulky water. That's a water. That's a bulky water. That's a bulky water. That's a bulky water. There's so many Pokemon that can also fill that niche as well. This is obvious. I love Caterpie. Caterpie and Metapod have great, like, vibes as Pokemon, should we say. But they're just awful. Butterfree, though, it's A tier. It's a really good mon early. With Confusion, I think, at level 10 upon evolution. Either Confusion or Gust. I think Confusion might be a little later. But it also gets access to status moves really early. And then it gets other moves as well. It's really not a bad mon at all. Weedle and Kakuna are also going to be D tier. Beedrill. Beedrill's not as good as Butterfree. That's pretty obvious. Mega Beedrill in like Let's Go obviously is, but you don't get the Mega Stone until late in the post game. I think Beedrill's probably B tier. It's good early, And obviously, it's not going to come to Brock, unlike Butterfree. Well, it probably will, just because it's your most powerful mon at that point. But it's not going to do anything. However, it has a really funny niche, and I'm pretty sure it can do it in Vanilla, where it can one-shot all of Erica's Pokemon with Twin Needle. It's also the only Pokemon that does get that too. Pidgey... That's not D tier. Pidgey C tier. You're going to evolve it in Misty Split. It's not a bad mon. It's just not a good mon. It's the same for Pidgeotto. Pidgeot, compared to later gen Burbs, it's not great. But in Kanto, it's like one of those typical Pokemon that you can bring in every single playthrough you do. And it'll probably do something decent. Rattata... I'm actually going to put Rattata in C tier, except pretty far above Pidgey. It gets Hyper Beam? Jesus, no. Hyper Fang at level 13, which is a 90 base power, 85 accuracy, or 85 power, 90 accuracy move at the very beginning of the game, before the first gym, which is kind of crazy. And then it evolves before Misty too, so Raticate is also C tier. Spearow. Spearow is an interesting one. I think it's also C tier. It is the better bird out of these two, just because it actually has Flying Stab. Spearow, though, is A tier. Really good mon. Faster, I think. Is it faster than Pidgeot? 100, okay, so it's like the same, because I think Pidgeot's is 107. Oh no, Pidgeot's is only 91. Oh, it's raised to 101 later. So yeah, it's faster than Pidgeot in Gen 1. Let's Go, obviously, it's the same speed, but Let's Go doesn't matter for speed as much. Plus, you're probably not using it as much in Let's Go. Let's be honest, you have this thing. In Gen 1, obviously, it's got the higher crit rate. It's got a higher attack stat. It's actually able to use its stabs better. It gets Drill Peck at like 43. It is a really, really solid mon. You get Hyper Beam in Cerulean Celadon as well. Ekans. Ekans is C tier for me. It's got Wrap, it's got Glare. It's one of those Pokemon that can be really good if you're playing with like Stat EXP on. It's the reason that I'm putting Arbok in a B tier. Just because it's got that little bit extra speed on Ekans. And it's able to use Wrap and Glare. You know, you're able to basically incapacitate Pokemon. You're gonna have that luck to hit everything. Because Wrap in Gen 1, I think is 75 AC, so not great. Pikachu. Depends on the context we're talking for Pikachu here. Red and Blue. It's Viridian Forest, right? It's super early. Yeah, it's B tier. It's an electric type, which is something you don't get many of in Kanto. Obviously, you get like 2 opportunities to get electrics. And you can evolve it somewhat early. It gets Thunderbolt pretty early at like 26 too. You can get it at Surge, obviously, as well. However, Raichu is Raichu S tier for a Kanto Nuzlocke? No. I think it's like A+, if anything. High crit rate, Electric Stab is really powerful. It's not resisted by much. It's only resisted by like, what, Grass and Ground, and obviously itself. I feel like if Raichu was S tier, Fearow would have to be as well. Sandshrew is D tier, honestly. I don't know. I can't really put it much higher. I guess it falls into the same boat as Pidgey, because it doesn't actually have, like... Sandslash, though, is B tier. It's a good ground type. Not super slow by Gen 1 standards. Also, I'm pretty sure it's, like, at the base speed to get guaranteed Slash crit. If you didn't know, Slash in Gen 1 has a 8 times critical hit rate. Because the critical hit rate is based off of your speed, anything with a 12.5% base critical rate or higher will guarantee a critical hit on those moves, making Slash almost as powerful as like Earthquake. Sandshrew is just too slow to take advantage of that, unfortunately. Nidoran Female. I think this is a good mon. It falls into that good early game mon bracket. I don't think it's B tier, just because you basically evolve it as soon as you beat a Brock. And I think it's a little bit more on the defensive side. Same for Nidorina, except Nidorina gets less moves. I know if you delay the evolution of Nidos up to like 38, they get toxic. Nidoqueen though, I'm gonna put Nidoqueen A tier, and Nidoking is our first S tier mon. They have incredible type coverage with their TM move pools and all that good stuff. Nidoran Male is B tier just because it's that little bit more offensive early on. These guys have incredible TM coverage, learning almost everything except for the obvious few moves that they couldn't. They're able to beat almost any Pokemon with ease. There's a reason Nidoking is the premier speedrunning Pokemon in 2025 onwards for Pokemon Red. I said 2025, I meant to say 2024. You get it. It's really freaking good. Clefairy. I think it's probably B tier, to be honest. The thing is, it's hard to rate Clefairy, just because you get Clefable as soon as you can get Clefairy. Just because Clefairy is available in Mount Moon, so are Moonstones, which there are 2 of. So that's another reason that like these 2 are really, really high as well, because you can get them so early on. Clefable's in a similar boat to Nidoqueen though. It's got that little bit less attack for a little bit more defensive bulk. And Clefairy and Clefable being pure normal is also really nice too. That bulky normal archetype is not something that's super common in Gen 1. Vulpix it's like a better Charmander line. I think it's C tier, to be honest. You can get Ninetales as soon as you get Vulpix though. Like, you can evolve this straight away. I think it's a little better. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Is it really that much better? No. The flying type kind of screws Charizard a lot in Gen 1. You are a worse Ninetales, Charizard. Jigglypuff is terrible, and Wigglytuff follows it. I've got Clefable up in A tier. Its counterpart is C tier. Zubat is also pretty poo, but you get Golbat pretty early. Is Golbat that good? No. Golbat's just another one of those Pokemon that probably will warm the box for you a fair bit. Oddish. Oddish is a fickle Pokemon. I think it fits a similar role to Bulbasaur. The problem is that you get Oddish so much later than Bulbasaur, because it gets a whole bunch of status moves too. It gets Absorb, Mega Drain, all that good stuff. I feel like Gloom is a little better. It's not better than Ivysaur. Vileplume's also an A tier mon. It's a bulky grass type. It fits a very, very similar role to Venusaur. Except Venusaur can also have Swords Dance and operate as a physical mon as well. It's a really interesting thing. Paris is pretty poo. I don't think I need to explain. 15 power leech life. Parasect is also just not great. Obviously it has the role of being a spore user, but it just doesn't have the speed to be able to hit that spore early. Venonat, it's another one of those mons that's just not great. Better than Spearow, just because it's got that little bit more bulk, a little bit of special. I think you get like Sludge, but you also get a lot of psychic moves. You just don't have the attack stats to use them. And by the time I think you get Venomoth at 31, you've probably got better options. Diglett. This guy sweeps Surge, so it's not D tier or anything. Plus you can evolve it as soon as you beat Surge. Pretty quickly. I think it's 26, so I think it's C tier. Dugtrio though is S tier. It's one of the fastest Pokemon in Generation 1. It's the second fastest Pokemon that you're able to get, I think, behind obviously Electrode. Unless you're playing with Trade Evolutions at 37 or whatever. Dugtrio is just really, really good. It's really fast, has the super high crit rate. It hits those crits all the time. It has Stab, Earthquake. It is a really, really good mon. Meowth is pretty poo though. Stab Slash, I think puts it above like you. Couple of you. Stab Slash really is decent on Meowth. It's like 65 attack. The thing is, Meowth's too frail to... If it doesn't kill with Slash, it's probably dead. Persian's one niche is Slash, but it does it really freaking well. It gets Stab on it. I think that puts it above like Beedrill. Psyduck's not great. By the time you can get Psyduck, it just falls off so quickly. Golduck! This guy's pretty good. It's probably the worst bulky water so far. I said that like we've ranked more than 2 of them. It's not as good as Blastoise, but it has a different niche to Blastoise. Blastoise is a bulky water with the intention of being bulky water. Golduck needs that extra like 20 special attack and add the psychic typing. Problem is, if they did that, it'd just be a Starmie too. Mankey. Okay, in yellow, at least, Mankey's available really, really early. It's good for Brock. It's not bad early. Karate Chop is also guaranteed to crit on it because it does have the speed stat to do that. It's not bad. And you get low kick at like 17? Isn't it? Low kick at level 9. That's earlier than I thought. I had low kick and Karate Chop mixed up. That's really decent. That means it's like able to beat Onix and stuff. Yeah. Primeape is pretty similar. It fills that similar role of fast fighting type. I think it's the fastest fighting type in the game, which is kind of sad considering It's like, what, 95 speed? Growlithe! It's not a great fire type. It's not as good as Vulpix. However, Arcanine is better than Ninetales. I think Arcanine is the best fire type behind probably Magmar. It has that really, really good 130 attack. It's insanely high BST. And it also just destroys things with Hyper Beams. Alright. Poliwag. Poliwag is interesting. It gets Bubble Beam, right? It actually gets it by level up, doesn't it? No. Okay. Oh, that's not so great. I suppose it's not that bad because... What level are you able to get it? No. So it's always level 10 when you get it, which is kind of low. But let's be honest, that's not that bad. It gets better moves pretty quickly. It evolves at 21 and you can evolve it straight away after that with the Water Stone. I think C tier is good. Poliwhirl's also C tier though, just because it's not that strong and you don't have it for very long. Poliwrath I think's better than you, marginally, just because its coverage is a little better. And the dual typing is kind of nice. Abra, I don't know how to rank Abra to be honest. It obviously gets Psychic by TM, but you're not going to teach it Psychic by TM when it gets it by level up. It's also got like 4 defense, and it only uses Teleport while you've got it. Kadabra though, I think is A tier. It's a really good one. The 120 special is just too good to pass up at that point of the game. Even though you're only using like Confusion and Psybeam, it is pretty damn nice. Alakazam is S tier. I don't think I need to say any more about that. Psychic type in Gen 1 is already cracked. Psychic type with Stab in Gen 1 and that critical hit rate. It's Walmart Mewtwo in Gen 1. That's saying a lot. Marchop! Where can you get Marchop? Rock Tunnel? It's one of those mons again that you don't have for very long. Obviously it's going to use Stab fighting moves, I think. Low kick at 20, yeah. And you're going to catch it at like level 18, level 19, so you're not worrying about no Stab for very long. You get Marchoke at like 25. However, Marchoke is not much better. Got that higher attack stat, of course, but it's terrible defensively. It's got that little bit of HP, I suppose. It's not better than like Raticate or Venomoth. Marchant though is great. Stab fighting type, obviously. I mean, at the same time, it's actually reasonably bulky, but 90 HP is pretty good by Gen 1 standards. 80 defense, also pretty good by Gen 1 standards for a mon that's only got 1 physical weakness and 1 special weakness. Bellsprouts. It's worse than Ekans because it's slower. It's got a higher attack stat, but it's just slower. And it's also grass type, which kind of sucks poo. Weepinbell is not great either. I think it's worse than Gloom by quite a distance. The thing is, they get Swords Dance, but you're not teaching them Swords Dance. Victory Bell is good though. That's the thing. Tentacruel is alright. It's B tier, it's got good special, good speed. Tentacruel is A tier, great special, good speed. Need I say more? Oh, is it A tier or is it S? It's low-key almost S tier to me. Just because I've used it so many times. And when you get it, obviously you've got Surf HM because you need to Surf to catch it. So you've already got a base 90 stab move on it. It is also the fastest Wrap Pokemon in Gen 1, which is really handy. I'm leaning almost to S tier, but I'll keep it in A for now. So Geodude, this guy's awkward. I'm pretty sure it only has Tackle until like level 20, right? Okay, Tackle and Defense go till level 16, then it gets Rock Throw, Earthquake at 31. That's not bad actually, that's pretty early. Level 16 Rock Throw, unless you get it in Mount Moon, you're probably getting it with Rock Throw already. Problem is Rock Throw is horrible in Gen 1. It's like 50-80. Graveler probably falls into that same boat then. But Golem? I mean, it's one of those Pokemon that's just going to be really good in every run. So I'm going to put it A tier, because it's better than these guys. Simple as that. Ponyta. It's alright physically. It's about as far as it goes, I'm afraid. It's not got much special to use like Ember and Fire Blast with. Obviously its niche mainly is like double-edging shit and having a high crit rate to use it with. I feel like it's on a similar level with Charizard. It also gets Hypnosis, Horn Drill as well. And considering it's pretty high speed, it's always going to be faster than stuff. Slowpoke. You don't use this in many runs, let's be honest. I'm going to put it like C tier. I'm not really sure where to put it, so if you disagree, please let me know. Slowbro, A tier. It's a good mon. Water Psychic is a great typing. I think if Golduck actually had that typing, it would also be pretty close to A tier because it's Amnesia. Pretty sure Golduck gets Amnesia by level up in this game, right? No. Okay, Golduck doesn't. That was just a BK thing. Slowbro does get it, yeah. That makes it pretty good. Obviously, you get it fairly late. We don't care about Megas, obviously. Magnemite. I know I've talked about not getting many electric types. Magnemite is awful. You're stuck with Thundershock by level up. Magneton is probably who you would end up teaching it to, and it has a great special attack to use with it. It's got that 120 special, so it is pretty good. And 70 speed in Gen 1's not half bad. And I mean, as I said, it is who you will teach Thunderbolt to in 90% of your runs. Unless for some reason you're teaching it to like Electrode. Farfetch'd has one niche, and that's being a Swords Dance. No, it's not good. It's alright, because like, it gets guaranteed slash crit. Problem is, it has Swords Dance. Guaranteed slash crit with Swords Dance means that Swords Dance is useless. Doduo. I think Doduo gets Drill Peck before it evolves at like 30, which is pretty decent. But Dodrio is our premier bird Pokemon of these games. It is clear of Fearow in every way. It's faster, it's more offensive, it gets all sorts of shit. It gets Tri-Attack too. Underrated move because of the status effects. It's just a really amazing mon. It's on par with like these guys. Seal. Seal is awkward. You don't have it for long. It's one of those mons. I think most of the Pokemon that are like in the you don't have them for very long category will probably end up in C or D tier. Dugong. Another bulky water, but it's Ice type. Ice type's great offensively. It's not resisted by fire in Gen 1 either. So it's like super effective against Charizard. Grimer is D tier. No. Muck. B tier. Bulky Poison. Poison's not a great defensive typing, obviously. However, it's not that bad. Also is one of the premier Explosion mons. Which, I mean, how many times are you going to click Explosion in a run? As many times as you can, right? Shelder. Ooh. Shelder's an awkward one. It's like, not quite similar to Poliwhirl, but it is. It's physically great. Bulk-wise, amazing. Problem is, it has nothing to use. It's got like no moves. Same goes for Cloyster, but Cloyster is going to be a little higher. Me personally, I'm not too keen on him because I think Cloyster's base special in Gen 1's only 45. So it's kind of poo. But it is another boomer, and it also has amazing physical defense as a pivot. Spike Cannon, I guess, is kind of okay. It's better later. Let's put it that way. Ghastly. It's B tier. Even though it's one of those Pokemon that dies to like a peck, it has a good special stat. You're going to use it. You're going to evolve it before you even get out of the Pokemon Tower. And then you're going to use Haunter for a good chunk. And then you're going to have Gengar, which shits on everything that Alakazam can't. Onix, I feel like it's D tier. You can't get it in Mount Moon like you can in Let's Go. And it's just terrible. Who decided that this 28-foot long, 463-pound snake should have 40 attack? Or whatever. It's got a lower attack than Piplup, for fuck's sake. Like, do you expect a Wigglytuff to hit something harder? You know, this big blobby pillowy guy to hit harder than a fucking 200 kilo snake? I don't think so. Drowsy. Drowsy will go above Abra because it does get psychic moves. It also gets, I think, Poison Gas and Hypnosis. Not that you're clicking Poison Gas very often, but it's actually kind of alright. Hypno though. I feel like Hypno could almost go into the S tier. Because it's actually a somewhat early Evo, right? It's 28. And you get Hypno, you can get Hypno on Route 11. Or Drowsy on Route 11. And I mean, it's got 115 special. It's got a higher HP than these two as well. Which makes it pretty decent. The only issue is that like Gengar has coverage, Alakazam has that extra speed. So I feel like that'd be the only thing that knocks Hypno down to like A+ sort of tier. Okay, Krabby. No. Kingler. I mean, it gets Guillotine. It gets like Slash. It's bulky. Physically anyway. It's worse Cloyster. Voltorb is horrible. There's no need for it to be higher than D tier. It's got one job, and that's to blow the fuck up. It's not going to be good with electric moves. It doesn't have any attack stats. Same goes for Electrode. The only reason Electrode's going to be higher is because it has the highest critical hit rate of every single Pokemon in the game. Base 140 speed or 150 speed is just too quick to keep up with, and the chance of critical explosion, pretty good. Exeggcute. This is one of those mods you don't have for very long. It falls into the same category as so many mods in that tier already do, and at the same time, it's really rare. I think the only rare you can get is Route 23, right? Unless there's like a Safari Zone area where it's in. However, Exeggcute is S tier. It's the best grass type in the game by quite a distance, ahead of, you know, the obvious Venusaur that's behind it. It's got Boom as well. It's able to use Stab Psychic with 125 special, which is incredibly high for Gen 1. Cubone! I hate to say it, buddy, but you're poo. Marowak also falls into that boat. It's like high C tier. It's not as good as Sandslash. Hitmonlee. How do I rank this? Oh, this is horrible. These guys in Gen 1 are so weird. Okay, you get it at level 30. It already has Double Kick and Meditate to boost its attack. It gets Rolling Kick and Jump Kick. The next relevant move and only other relevant move it gets is High Jump Kick at 48. But it is a little bit faster than like you, but it will not go above you because you're so much more frail. I think it's B tier. I think both of them go on the one sort of level because they're very, very similar stats wise. The only issue, oh no, they don't go on the same tier. You go to like there. I just saw Hitmonchan's level up moveset. We're not going to talk about that. Lickitung is terrible. I'm sorry, Bug. Coughing is also pretty bad. Wheezing though, I think it's B tier. It's another boomer. It's another poison type. It's not as good as Muck. Muck's a lot bulkier. Rhyhorn, you don't have it for that long, but you have it for long enough to use it. I feel like it's high C, just because it's physically really decent. It's got that much HP as well that it's not gonna die to like everything ever. It'll die to a water gun, of course, but it's got that little bit more HP, a little bit more physicals. It's more on like Graveler's level with a bit more HP than, say, Geodude. Rhydon though is above Golem by a decent margin. It's got that much more attack to use and more HP. It's better in nearly every way. Chansey I don't like to use in my Nuzlocks. So it's D tier? No, it's like the best mon in the game. You're not going to use it against anything physical. You're only going to use this guy against special attackers. It's one of the best Pokemon in the game. Hands down. Tangela! Is Tangela's stats in Gen 1 actually good? Or am I just thinking of Blue Kaiser? It is actually pretty decent. Okay. Where did I just throw it? Wait, where'd it go? D. Yeah, no, Tangela's alright. The issue is you have to use TMs on it. That's the big problem for Tangela. Just because I don't even think it gets Mega Drain, does it? Alright, Kangaskhan. It's really good, obviously, as a normal type. But it's not as good as Persian. I feel like it's probably low B. Just because it's kind of rare, so you're not going to have it very often anyway. You got to think of, like, all of that sort of stuff, too. You'll probably get something else in the Safari Zone, let's be honest. Horsey. This guy's a good Rodmon. You don't have it very long. It's the same boat as, like, Poliwag. Except it's a bit more on the physical side of things rather than like special. Seadra is, I feel like it's also C tier. It's just not great. Same for Goliath and Seaking. Staryu's alright. It's B tier for me. But that's just because I've used it in like Baby Blue and that. Starmie though, I don't think I can put it in S tier, to be honest. Is it on the level of the 7 Pokemon in the top tier? It's probably on Nidoking's level. But do you get it as early as Nidoking? No. You need the Super Rod to be able to use it. Which you don't get until very late. I say very late, like you don't get it after 4 badges. But you don't get Staryu until fairly late, I think. So, I can't really rate it on an S tier, because its level up set is pretty poo. Obviously you're going to have Stab Surf on it, you can teach it the Psychic TM. If you don't use the Psychic TM on like Gengar. I think it kind of has to go in S tier. Mr. Mime, you can get a free one for an Abra, but I'm gonna be real with you. If you trade Abra for a fucking Mr. Mime in your Nuzlocke, you deserve to lose it. Scyther, As much as I love it as my former channel mascot, I say former while it's still the profile picture. That'll change one day. Scyther, it's got guaranteed crit, but it's not even stab. It does have Sword Stance with wing attack. Jinx is a great Pokemon. It doesn't have the insane special that it probably could. I feel like it probably deserves like 115. But it is just a really decent Pokemon. Ice Psychic is a unique typing as well. I don't even now, apart from Smoochum, there's no other mon that has it. It's just a really intriguing type combo that's really usable in your runs. Electabuzz and Magmar are both A tier. Yeah, they're both really good. They've got great coverage. They're not like gonna break the game either with their stats. I think Pinsir's better than Scyther. It's better physically. It's not quite as fast, which is okay because it's got that bit more defense. The problem is as well, there's like no bug stab moves apart from Pin Missile and what, Twin Needle. Tauros. Tauros. You, my friend, are at least high A tier. I wish I could put Tauros in S tier because it is that good. Don't get me wrong, it is S tier good. However, it's so rare that you're probably never going to get it. It's got that 40% run rate in the Safari Zone. You're probably never getting it. I'm going to be real. You have to like really go out of your way to dupe everything to be able to get that. Magikarp is obviously Magikarp. It's clearly the GOAT. I'm kidding. Magikarp is D tier, but Gyarados on the other hand is obviously S tier. It's S tier in nearly every single generation. I think the only one that it might not be is Gen 2, but then it could be anyway as a HM Mule. So, this guy is amazing. Generation 1, this thing was the most powerful Pokemon in existence for like Nuzlocking. In Blue Kaizo, I'm going to use that as a reference here real quick. Its level up moveset is fucking crazy. Thunderbolt, Waterfall, Blizzard, Body Slam, and Hydro Pump by like level 45. Don't get me wrong, obviously that's not its real level up set. It's just that good anyway. 130 attack at level 20 is game breaking. You get it for free guaranteed on Route 4. You're always going to get it in every run. Obviously, in later generations, it gets Dragon Dance. Like, come on. Lapras. Lapras is, I think it's the best bulky water on basis of being a bulky water. It gets Ice Beam by level up too, which is a crazy level up move. You'll have Surf probably by the time you're in Silph Co getting this, unless you do things out of order, which is perfectly fine. Do what you want. It's your run, your rules. But this guy is so good. Ditto. I feel like it's C tier. It's not D tier. It is usable for things. Eevee is D tier. It's pretty poo. I'm going to be real. You don't have Eevee for long at all. You're not using it as an Eevee, you're using it as the 3 Pokemon below. Vaporeon. Vaporeon is probably the next best bulky water. I feel like all 3 of these are really great waters in their own right. There's no way that they aren't, let's be honest. They are all really good Pokemon. Vaporeon gets Acid Armor as well to really enunciate its bulk. Like, really good. Honestly, it's just really good. Same time, Gen 2. Obviously, I'm not trying to use a lot of other generations as examples. But in Gen 2, it gets Growth as an Eevee at 42, which would make Eevee like C tier. The only problem is that's level 42. Jolteon is S tier though. It is the best electric type in the game. Hands down, it's faster than Raichu, it's better than Raichu power-wise. It gets Thunderbolt by TM, not level up unfortunately. However, it also gets Thunder by level up, it gets Sand Attack, which is also kind of good, and when you have Jolteon, you've probably got Quick Attack from when it's an Eevee, so you're still going to keep Quick Attack in case you don't kill something. 110 special, 130 speed is too good to pass up on. Flareon though, this is an interesting one. I personally feel like Flareon is an A tier Pokemon in Gen 1. Later on, obviously it's not. We all know that. However, in Generation 1, it has 130 attack and 110 special. Do you know how good that is offensively? When things like Alakazam have 130. Porygon's... I don't think Porygon's D tier. I'm going to put Porygon C tier. And I'm going to put you in D tier. Omanite. Omanite and Kabuto are both D tier to me. Because you're going to use them as these two instead. Omastar is probably A tier, I think. It's got really decent stats over the board, across the board. I think it's just the physical attack and speed that are low, isn't it? It's not special that's low. Yeah. 115 special, 125 defense is really, really good. The level up moveset's a bit lacking, but I think you can make up for it at that point of the game. Kabutops is like slightly worse. I don't know about C tier because it has slash and 120 attack or whatever to go with it. I feel like it fits that B tier pretty well if Pinsir's there. It's a very similar mon. Aerodactyl. I can't put it S tier. Just because the level up moveset has nothing. I'll put it on screen here. It doesn't even get Rock Slide by TM, man. Why? How do you not? There's a rock type with no rock type move. Not even by TM. I'm looking at its moveset and I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't even fit in the A tier. Amazing critical hit rate and all that, but you can't even use like your stabs. And now it's just, well, we've got 4 mons to go. I just realized. Snorlax is S tier. There's nothing that says otherwise. It is a guaranteed Pokemon. You can use it as much as you like. It gets so many moves. It's so bulky. Genuinely, this might be one of the best Pokemon in any like generation for Nuzlocks. Dratini and Dragonair, I'm going to put both in C tier. You get them really late in like Safari. I think the only way you can get Dratini is with Super Rod, which has Dragonair on it as well. I think Dratini's on the good rod as well, but it's a very, very low chance. I think Super Rod has both Dratini and Dragonair on it. The other issue is that you can't use Dragonite here until very late on. I think outside of Yellow, you can't use it until the final split. Obviously, it's amazing as a mon otherwise. It gets so many moves. I'm going to put it in A tier for that point exactly. It has so much coverage, high attack stat to use like Hyper Beam Fly, high special in 105 or 100 to use like Thunder, Blizzard, Fire Blast. It's a Dragon type. That's the thing. You're going to be able to use it no matter what you do. It's just not very good. Well, it's not good, it's just not... I wish it was better. Anyway, this is the list. Feel free to check it. Feel free to pause and just have a look. If you disagree, let me know in the comments what you think down below. And then otherwise, leave a like and subscribe to the channel as always. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.